Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. So, as was mentioned, I'm Hailey McInnes. I'm part of the Research and Insights team here at the Trade Desk. Automotive is a passion of mine, so coming into this role, I wanted to understand what does the path to purchase look like, especially knowing that we see that car sales are relatively flat year over year. How are consumers, now that there's so many opportunities out in the market, how are they thinking about going into their car buying journey? So with this, we partnered with PA Consulting to understand how car buyers are thinking about their automotive journey. It's no longer, I just want one vehicle, I know that I want a gas engine, I know I want an SUV. It's, do I want an EV or a hybrid? Do I want a sedan or an SUV? Do I really need a heated steering wheel? Which, if you're my dad, then yes. With all of these complex options, consumers now feel more overwhelmed than they ever have before, which is why we're seeing an extension of the auto buying journey. With this, we've decided through our research that the new auto buying journey is really bucketed into these three phases. First, you have an initiation stage. With this, there's some type of trigger that drives them to decide that it's time to buy a car. Whether they're growing their family, they're concerned about the environment, or even they were exposed to advertising. So seeing a digital out-of-home board or getting a social post. This then helps them decide that it's time for them to buy their car. They then start to build their brand consideration set. A lot of this is driven by either the cars that they've known and seen. Some of them even said that they just were looking at consumers driving down the road and saw if they were happy driving their vehicle. The consideration set starts to build, and then through that they enter this research and refine phase. This is where we're seeing the extension of the buying journey. Because of all of these options and opportunities that when it comes to buying a car, people cycle through all of these phases to try to figure out what's going to be best for them. What the heck is an incentive, and how am I actually going to be able to afford this car? This is then when they start shortlisting what their next vehicle is going to be. This is where we actually see the extension continue on, because a lot of people feel that they're not getting, that they understand all the information available to them, and they actually go back into the research and refine cycle. Because of this, it takes much longer to get them into the car and then off the lot. A lot of this has to do with the fact that they're super frustrated during the journey, and that really comes through the entire phases. So first, in the initiate stage, they feel overwhelmed with all this information. When you think back of car buying 2 years ago, because of the supply shortages, they were limited on opportunities, whereas now there's so much supply, and almost every single OEM has a multitude of trims and lineup and even fuel types. Because of this, as well as just being in the digital age of overwhelming information, we see that it takes them a much longer time to even move into the next stage. This is where they start second guessing. And is this the right choice for me? It's really hard to find transparent and clear information, especially when it comes to comparing different brands and models, because everything feels skewed to what the brand is saying. And lastly, not a surprise, we know that once you get to the dealership, there's this pressure to make you decide that it's time to buy a car, and then they start second guessing, and this is where they end up back into the beginning. With this, we're seeing an increase in how many brands are people actually considering for their next vehicle. About 2 years ago, it was around 2 brands, whereas now we're seeing up to 5 brands within their consideration set, which is why it's much more important for you to remain top of mind. We actually see that advertising is super salient throughout the entire purchase journey, with almost 8 in 10 saying they feel excited and want to learn more when they see a car brand that they're interested in. They also get excited and they feel more confident because they're being exposed to this brand and getting more information of what it means to actually be an owner of it. But also at the same time, it's really important to make sure that you're not just heavying up in one channel or another. We understand through other research that we did earlier this year that having an even frequency across a multitude of channels is what's going to drive that brand resonance and ad recall and help lower that actual memory encoding. This is why we wanted to showcase how the digital ecosystem actually works together. I'm part of the Trade Desk. Our bread and butter is the open internet, but we also don't want to shy away from the fact that we understand that social and search is still going to be a key part of it, but it's better when they work together. We also see that car buyers agree that if they are getting more information from a multitude of sources, it's actually going to move the car buying process along faster. With that, this is what our phases look like when it comes to the car buying journey. Sometimes online sources are dialed up or dialed down depending on where they are. But just like you're trying to move people through the funnel, you want to make sure that you're aligning with the content and the channels that are actually going to resonate with them depending on where they are and the information that they're needing. So even though we say that everything's going to be, we want to go holistically, you want to make sure that you're really touching the points that are going to help them drive to the finalized stage much faster. With that, outside of social and search, we wanted to understand how other digital channels, so digital out of home, audio, streaming, are helping to move through the key stages. We actually see that digital out of home is one of the top triggers when it comes to deciding that it's time to buy a car. We really understand this because it is such an invasive product and opportunity for you to get your messaging in front of your client, in front of your key targets, in a much faster way with big splashy creative. We also see that having open internet channels or non-biased channels are what helps fuel the research and refinement phase. It helps them prompt them to further investigate specs and features and move them into the finalized stage faster, with advertising still remaining super important all the way up until the point of purchase. However, while it is also very fragmented and confusing from the consumer side, we also know that it's super fragmented and confusing from the advertiser standpoint. How do I talk to all of these people and make sure that it's targeted and important and I'm reaching them everywhere that they need to be? That's where programmatic focuses the brand for your ecosystem. You no longer have to decide this is my one channel, my one time I can talk to somebody. You can move through them throughout the entire purchase journey in a seamless way, while also making sure that you're hitting on all the points, no matter whether they're in the initiate stage or all the way down to the finalized stage. Where we at the trade desk this is where we kind of lean in. We see about 2.7 billion people across the open internet within our platform. It's important to be and see these people because about 76% of their time researching is done across channels outside of search and social. With that, because I don't want to hold you up from lunch any longer, we just wanted to showcase how all channels matter when it comes to influencing and fast-tracking the buying journey. It is becoming much longer and much more arduous to get someone from that initiate stage all the way to the end, with about half of consumers looking at outside of that 90 window into about a 180-day window. So for that, you want to make sure that you're following them throughout that entire journey. We also know that the open internet is going to be really important to create that reliability and clarity in the information that you're giving them, and really great for ad opportunity alignments. And then lastly, advertising is important. It is the key that's going to get them into that literal key into that car to move you into that decision buying faster. Thank you so much for your time. This report is now available on the trade desk, but free for any questions over there. Thank you.